Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be customizing these two dials, maybe this one also. I'm going to be using water slides for this. I've been using water slides for years to customize Hot Wheels, but for the dials I'm going to be using a different type of paper. First, I ordered this in white on AliExpress. According to them, this is white, which is actually silver. So I'm gonna paint this white. So when I customize Hot Wheels, one of the paints that I like the most is this Hobby Paint from Vallejo. This is flat white. So I'm gonna be painting this white. Before I do any painting, I'm gonna customize or cut off the 2 feet that I don't need. I'm gonna be using a NH35 with a 3 o'clock crown. So the ones that I need is this one and this one. This one and this one is if you're using a movement NH35 movement with the crown at 3.8. So I need to cut that. I'm gonna do that before I paint. That way I'm not dealing with anything in the back after I paint. So I'm going to be installing this art that I made. It is backwards. This goes backwards. And for this blue one, I'm going to be using this one. I don't know if you can see it. It's white toner. I'm going to leave you a link down below to what kind of printer I'm using. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Also, you notice that I created the art with a cutout line. That way I know where I need to cut. And it's going to be big enough to cover the whole dial, because if you cut only the little small piece or part that you need, the dial gets kind of a, let me show you. I've been doing these tests. You can see the line here, and you can't take that out. We'll talk more about that later. One of the first things that you have to do is, you can see here when I print it, it has some toner, orange toner there, and it's not supposed to be there. So using my X-Acto knife here, I can come over here and scratch it off lightly. And you make sure you look at this so that there's no dust or any other imperfections before you apply them, because if you don't clean it, that imperfection is going to go on the dial and the toner is not going to stick to the dial. So let me go paint this and I'll be back. Alright, so check it out. You can see I'm holding the dial by the feet, and this paint dries very quickly. There's also this other brand, Tamiya. They also make a white. They're both lacquer paints, but I prefer to use a Vallejo. I've been using them for years. Alright, so I made two different designs for that dial. You can see this one has a black outline for that date window. This one doesn't have it. I don't know how good of a alignment job I did in the software, so I'm gonna try out one of these, and if that's not aligned, then I'll go with one of these without that. So let me cut this up and I'll be back. Alright, so with my experiment over here, I use microsole, this one right here. This gave me the worst result, which is microset. Over here I use the glue that came with the Waterslide paper, and over here it's just soapy water. Now if you can see, these are doubled up, so my printer can only do white because I swap out the black toner with the white toner, but I can't put the paper back in the printer and print again because it won't be aligned. Now these don't look aligned. That's because I had changed the design a little bit, so they're not exactly the same. That's why they're not perfectly aligned. But you can see that I doubled up to give it some color, and it worked on all methods. I did find out that using only soap, that transfer paper that you're about to see really stuck. So I had to kind of scratch it over here to be able to peel that first one. The second one I let it hang over here, that will be easier. But you can see that if you cut the water slide like this, you're gonna have some residue, and this is not coming out. And this happens when you have a shiny or glossy surface. I've used this on matte or flat surfaces, and I do not get that residue. Check it out. So this is flat paint, original paint. You can see this is flat white, and it doesn't have any residue. On this one over here, does not have any residue. So this paper is a game changer for making custom die casts. You can see here is a glossy finish, and I don't have any residue, but that's because I had to polish it. Now the toner held up to polishing, but on a dial, especially like this blue one that has all those things around it, you're not going to be able to go with a Dremel and polish it. So this is why I made the design so it's bigger than the actual dial, and I don't have those harsh lines left behind. So let me clean up here and I'll be back. Alright, so I got water over here, and I always like to use a drop of dish soap whenever I do this. You don't have to leave it in the water. You can just get it sufficiently wet, put it to the side. You can even use a sponge, a wet sponge, but it would be slower. So I'm gonna be using microsole. I liked how microsole worked. Make sure the paint is fully cured, because microsole is kind of harsh. Now this is flat white, so it's gonna be difficult to move it around. That is why I use a drop of soap in the water to help me slide it around. So flip it up, Should be like this. Now let me see how good of a job I did. Aligning that I think I did pretty good. Make sure before it sticks. Oh, I'm sorry, but I gotta see. Let me give you a second here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty centered. Now, I recommend that you also get these little things. These tools are for doing nails. So I get this rubber part wet with the soapy water, and I kind of use it like a squeegee. I go around, make sure there is no bubbles. And you see how it's lifting? I can use microsol to soften that transfer paper and make it fall to the other side. Just so I can make sure that that toner is fully seated on that dial. Now, the instructions on the paper say you need to bake this 350 degrees for 5 minutes or at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. I find that 250 degrees for 10 minutes works a lot better for me. So I'm going to put this in the oven and I'll be back. Alright, so I baked it for 10 minutes and then I let it sit for another 10 minutes so it will cool down. It's still a little bit warm, but not really hot. So let's peel this and see how the paint is gonna hold up. Let's go slowly. It has some lift. Change angles here. So this side over here did not stick. And it's probably because I did not leave enough overhang and it did not stick down. Here it is. But the good thing is I could use paint remover and start all over again. Or I could just apply another one on top. See how it goes. For now, I'm gonna see if I could do another one on top. I'm gonna do this other one with the white, and To help out with that overhang, what I'm gonna do is, using my scissor, I'm just gonna cut just a little bit. That way that transfer paper doesn't want to lift or curl up. Put it in the water. Put it right there. Mix in the microsol. Clean it up a little bit. Make sure I apply enough. Close this. This will be the top. Let me see if I can get this as center as possible. I have to do it off camera so you can see what I'm doing. And of course, it was not even straight. Looks better. Use the brush first. Some water. And then I'm going to use that silicone tip. Make sure it's flat over here. That's good enough. Let me put this in the oven. I might as well do an experiment instead of using paint remover. And I'm going to try to install another one right on top of this one. Let me get it ready. Right, I'm going to use the one without the black trim around the date. So I don't have to worry about that. Let me get some microsol all over the place here. Especially in that corner. In this corner over here. You can see it over the camera. All right, let me get this straight. I'll be back. All right, let's check it out. Still a little bit warm. Let's see how we did. There it is. Pretty nice. Not bad. Let's do the other one with the white. The white ink. We put it in the middle of the camera, it'll be better, right? Exomatic Rotex. I got a little bit over here, but you can see this way I don't have any type of markings or residue on the dial. Check it out. Let me take a picture. And there they are. So this one is also a NH35. You see it still has the 4 feet for 3 o'clock and 3.8 depending on the case. They're fully customized. I had to put this because I already cut the 2 feet. I might do this again in the future just to get a better look on the dial numbers. And if I do get a loom kit, I'm thinking that if I don't print the inside part here, it just might give me enough lift so I could put loom on all of them. So that's an experiment for the future. Other than that, I think it came out pretty nice. This other one, check it out. This one is kind of universal. You got the 4 legs here for the NH, and these 2 are for the Miura movement. So this one will fit different type of movement. I believe it also fits a ET something movement. I'll have to check. But that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Links to everything are gonna be down below. Peace out.